Are you a cat person, a dog person? How about a baby animal fan? Kittens are here and joining me today, and I need some willpower not to take this one home. Let's get today going. New Day Northwest starts right now.
It's a new day.
Now, from the Virginia Mason Franciscan Health Studio at King 5 in downtown Seattle, this is New Day Northwest.
Good morning and welcome to the show. I'm Kelly Hansen. We're going to have more kitten time in just a bit. But first, I have some pretzels and a fun round of hot topics for you. On today's panel, I have attorney Ann Bremner, author Marie Boswick, and our executive producer Joseph. Hello, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
We came bearing gifts. I hope you're hungry. I'm obsessed with pretzels. This is like a really exciting day.
Well, if you couldn't tell, Pretzel Day is coming soon.
Yes, so please
here,
dive in. Taste test while I explain.
Okay.
National Pretzel Day is Saturday the 26th. And to celebrate, Wetzel's is offering one free original pretzel per person at participating locations from 3 p.m. to close on Saturday, April 26th. No purchase necessary, and they obviously brought in such a big selection for us to try. I mean, pigs in a blanket, there's pizza sauce, there's jalapeno sauce.
The hot dog fell out.
Take both.
It's okay. What do we think?
I loved when they
Good,
emailed
good.
us. You were like, please bring the pretzels here. I'm like, I'll do my best.
Like when I go to the mall, I'm not even hungry, and I'm like, oh, I need a pretzel, and I need to
know.
walk around and shop, which I'm sure all the stores love with my little
Pretzel.
greasy, salty hands. They're like, thank you, Kelly, please go away. What do you think? You're diving in.
The caramel sauce, caramel dipping sauce, this is a definite winner.
working for you,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, this is working for me. Especially early, I don't want too salty, so this is divine.
Oh, I just went full send with the pizza number there. And what are your thoughts?
I think that I like the hot dog one, actually. What was your quote about hot dogs?
That the best hot dog you ever had wasn't that much better than the worst hot dog
I
you
love
ever
that.
had.
But I love hot dogs, and my cats love hot dogs.
I
they're good.
the cheese sauce.
a
I'm such,
staple.
like just pretzel cheese sauce. I am
It's a
good to go.
classic.
I know.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like if I go to any event or anything too, and there's a pretzel, it's like pretzel cheese sauce. Okay, we could clearly keep eating and talking about this all the time,
might.
but our next topic is a new article from the Seattle Times came out. Seattle is experiencing food apartheid, highlighting the latest opening of a new Trader Joe's being in Greenwood rather than South Seattle. Do we think that Seattle has this issue? I live in an area where I feel like there's a lot of like Trader Joe's, different grocery stores, but Joseph, you live closer to where...
So Naomi Ishizaka wrote
Yeah.
this, I think is an opinion story, which I was surprised to see that headline in the Seattle Times, and I was like, what is that about? So I clicked on it, and yeah, I used to live in North Seattle, and I moved just south of I-90 like about 4 years ago, and wow, I noticed the difference, and I never had a word for it until I, read
Right.
this. But like, yeah, she's saying there's no Trader Joe's in South Seattle. I mean, I have to drive pretty far to get to one. So but it's not just grocery stores. I see it with pharmacies,
Right.
gyms. I mean, it's not just grocery stores.
Yeah, it makes sense. She was writing in this article just how there's a couple Safeways near where she lives, but they're also riddled with gun violence as well. And so just why would Trader Joe's open yet another one in the north side and not South Seattle?
Well, I can't tell you. I live on Queen Anne, so we have everything up there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I didn't live on Queen Anne, I'd still probably go up there to Trader
Drive up
Joe's.
there,
But
yeah.
top of the hill, bottom of the hill. And of course, we're in the middle of the city, so.
I know.
I thought the interesting part, though, was she talked about, she linked it to health outcomes.
Yes.
That it,
Really?
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
know. Okay.
it was a really great article. So if you don't have, access to healthy food, I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
more
Okay,
incidence
right.
of cardiovascular disease and diabetes and everything
Definitely.
else. So it's an important thing for people.
Absolutely.
I know. I was happy to see it in the Seattle Times and just kind of such an opinion piece where it was just written so bluntly that I think
Yeah.
maybe people really need to,
Maybe if you-
educate themselves
If you don't live
on
in South Seattle, you may just think it's like, oh, it's like the rest of town.
Totally.
It's having all
Exactly.
these, amenities. But yeah, that was an interesting awakening for me to kind of live that and But I love living in South Seattle, so I'm not upset about it. But
No.
I do think we could have some more options.
Definitely. Switching gears too to sports. I don't know if you're all a big Kraken fan.
This was surprising to me.
Just last week, the Seattle Kraken announced prices will go down for much of the arena next season. And yesterday, they also announced that they just fired their head coach. So lots of changes. The Kraken missed the postseason, earned 76 points this season, tied for the 4th fewest total in the NHL. So, we weren't doing great. There's always so much excitement. I live near the stadium too. You always think, I don't know, each year I'm like, come on, could it be our year? But I'm really excited to hear about the fact that the prices are going down to make it more accessible for people. What about you all? Are you going to go to more games in person this season? Anne, are you a sports girly?
No. But I will say I love, like, in the neighborhood with everyone with their Kraken shirts on,
Yes.
and that whole spirit now, like, because I'm going through the Mama Queen Anne. It's great.
I know.
And it's just that everywhere, and they're coming up the hill, parking up there, and I'm like, it's just that that kind of spirit and everything for Seattle.
That hustle and
support,
bustle.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's.
What about you, Marie?
I have to say, well, I'm a big baseball fan.
Okay.
So
Go Mariners.
I have, Rainiers.
I like the Rainiers.
I
I
love
love
the
their game.
Rainiers, and
Yeah.
part of the reason I love the Rainiers is it's a great, affordable team with
Yes.
I mean, I can
It's
go.
so fun.
And I have to say, I have 6 grandchildren. So when
Family
I go to
outing.
sports, bringing the grandkids is the thing. So having a lower ticket price is very attractive
Yes.
to maybe make me consider doing that in the
Right.
future.
They really put on such a show too. Like I had never been to an NHL game before the Kraken came
Same,
here.
same.
And I was amazed at the show that they put on.
good.
Not really even knowing a lot
Right.
about hockey. You just
Right.
really get into
lot of
it and all the
theatrics with
buzz.
it.
Absolutely. But it is kind of crappy that we haven't done amazing year after
Well,
year.
they're a new
But
team. Give them
I
time.
know.
Right.
Give them
I
time.
know. Give them that.
And I
Just
just
like, come on.
King 5 is partners with the Kraken.
Yes.
And I think they've just been a great organization to work with. We did our
Absolutely.
whole show at the Kraken Community Iceplex.
I know
last
we
one.
did women in hockey. That was so fun.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I think they're fun.
I know, they are. Many around the world are mourning the death of Pope Francis, who died on Easter Monday. That just feels like, I don't even know.
Full circle.
His death sets in motion a series of rites and rituals, which seems to have many Catholics and non-Catholics alike interested. What do we think about this? Obviously just so sad to hear this news
Yes.
earlier this week about Pope Francis.
Yeah, he was so well loved. And I read where I was just telling you that my mom had me help take the flag to mass staff, or half mast,
Yeah.
yesterday
Yeah.
at their place. And I think the fact that he wants to be viewed in a wooden box and not elevated is so in keeping with the people's pope. I mean,
Very
somebody
humble.
that's
Yeah.
he's very humble, and he's just been wonderful. But I'm glad he made it to Easter. That was amazing.
I am too. Yeah.
And it's just a very compassionate person. I
Exactly,
think Catholic,
yeah.
non-Catholic, you had that said. I love that he was somebody who could admit when he was wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's really special. Yeah.
Especially in today's day and age, you don't always
Right?
see that with such a big public figure to do that.
Yeah. So I think that was neat. And I think people are interested because Conclave.
Yes,
People
that
watched the
movie.
movie, and
Yep.
so you became very fascinated by the whole mystery of now what happens, because there's a lot of fascinating ritual that I didn't know
definitely.
about.
I know.
I went to Catholic school my entire life. So when I was in high school and Pope John Paul II passed, I feel like we spent class time just like watching the whole process. And ever since then, I've just been very curious about all of it. And it will be interesting to see who they select as the next Pope. I know a lot of people, Catholics, non-Catholics alike, are all paying attention. So
No, definitely.
There's an American in there somewhere.
that would be
That'd be a first.
incredible.
Right?
Wow.
But I don't know if
That'd
that's
be
gonna,
great.
but we'll see.
Hey, you never know. Also, you guys, summer is about to be here with the weather getting warmer. I'm so excited for concert season. Are there any concerts that you guys are looking forward to? I'm thinking Morgan Wallen and Lumen Field. Like, concerts are always
Whoa.
so expensive.
That's a big
So
venue.
there's parts of me that are like, no, I'm just going to sit at home. But I am really excited about Morgan Wallen, July, Lumen Field, near my birthday.
Oh.
So
There you
that
go.
could be a fun girly night. And then Chateau Ste. Michelle, like an intimate concert
love
when
it
it's
there.
warm with a
Yes.
little wine.
Outside.
I've seen
That
John
sounds
Legend
nice.
there a few times. Love. Is there anyone that you would really want to see, Marie? Or are you like, forget it?
Well, I'm more of a Shakespeare in the Park girl, but
Concert of a sort.
that's a okay. So I do that. I'm about to go on a book tour. If I wasn't, I would be all over James Taylor at the end of May.
I love
Oh,
He's
okay.
great. I've seen him several times in several cities. So.
Amazing. And what about you? Do you have any?
Jackson Brown, saw him in junior high. Ever since.
Love it.
Yeah, I actually married John Henry Brown because I thought he was related.
Shout out to you, John. I'm
Well, as you can see with my
judging from your shirt.
I am
we have a
excited.
fan.
Kylie Minogue is probably my favorite musical artist. I've loved her since like 2000, and she's coming to Seattle. I think probably for the first time on Friday at Climate Pledge, where the
This
Crack and Play.
Friday?
Yeah, there
This
you go.
Friday.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
so obviously I'm going, and I love her. She's just been such a good artist for decades, and I'm so excited. So
Oh, great.
it's kind of kicking off my summer concert season.
Wait, I love your excitement. I feel like
yeah.
I get excited where I'm like, maybe I like Kylie Minogue. Maybe I need to go.
Well, I can tell you, if you want like 2 hours of just feeling happy, good pop music, then you should go.
Okay, well, the Game Time app, like, not sponsored. It's good to go on to see like
Yeah.
deals, last minute deals,
I
and
just love her
who
so
knows?
much.
Maybe you'll see me there. Thank you, y'all, and don't worry,
you.
Marie, Ann, and producer Joseph are sticking around for more hot topics later in the show, including some hot takes on a change to what we feel is one of Costco's most iconic foods. Also ahead on New Day, or should I say Meow Day, we have kittens.
so cute.
Seattle Area Feline Rescue is here with a couple of the sweetest little kitties that are available for adoption amid this busy kitten season. Also ahead, I'm learning to make pasta fagioli with Dalla Fonte. I cannot wait to cook this Italian classic. But up next, we're marking Earth Day with an important conversation around trees, so don't go away. If you've driven through Seattle's Green Lake neighborhood recently, you may have noticed signs like this. A group of neighbors are fighting to prevent the removal of a giant sequoia tree located on private property. And while it doesn't appear their fight will be successful, neighbors say this illustrates the need for reforms in the city's tree protection standards. And joining me now are Tiffany Severide, who lives within a few blocks of the tree, and Sandy Shetler from the nonprofit Tree Action Seattle. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us. Happy Earth Day.
Yes, happy Earth Day. This is very timely, what we're talking about. So Tiffany, I want to start with you. What can you tell us about the tree, and why are you and your neighbors so passionate about this?
Yeah, well, the tree is majestic. It's 100 feet tall, more than 100 feet tall, 5 feet wide at the base. You can really see it from the other side of Green Lake. We have immense support for this tree. We have over 1,600 signatures on our online petition so far. Numerous emails, letters, phone calls to the mayor, city council. Unfortunately, no response. We just really want to protect this tree. The neighbors and I are passionate about this tree for a lot of different reasons. Some neighbors really appreciate the habitat that it provides for birds and other animals. We have one neighbor who's seen falcons and eagles perching on the tree. Another neighbor, her daughter's bedroom window looks out on the tree and she can see owls in the tree in the early morning. A lot of neighbors really appreciate the environmental benefits that the tree provides. One woman, her children can play outside in their backyard in the hot summers because of the shade that the tree provides when it's too hot to play anywhere else. A lot of people just love the tree. They think of it as an old friend. We have one woman who's lived in the neighborhood for over 40 years, and she's just heartbroken that the tree is going to be removed for a driveway.
Okay, yeah, and we should mention the tree's located in the yard of a single-family home. The home owner wants to tear down the home and rebuild. Construction plans for the new home show that the tree is in the way. And Sandy, I want to get to you. Why did your group become involved in this effort, and where does it currently stand?
Yeah, so Tree Action Seattle, we support people who are standing up for trees in their neighborhoods. And with very simple, small site design changes, this tree could easily be saved. And it's really just a hallmark of what's happening in Seattle. Last year, over 2,000 trees were removed in Seattle legally, and we believe that a similar number was removed illegally. And this is due to the new tree ordinance, which passed in 2023. And unfortunately, it's much worse than the tree ordinance that we used to have.
Wow. Okay, good information to know. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
And how do you respond to those that say, though, this tree is on private property, the homeowner should be able to do whatever they want with that property?
Yeah, so actually in Seattle, most of Seattle's urban forest is on private property. And trees are the only scalable, inexpensive solution that we have to address the climate change impacts that are coming, which are urban heat islands and flooding. And we need more housing, and we need to build our housing densely, and we can totally do this at the same time like other cities are doing. So just as we, as cities regulate things like sewer lines and fire escapes, that you have to have these for safety,
Right.
we believe that cities need to regulate trees as essential green infrastructure to protect us as we have climate change and more density.
And so what changes would you want to see then?
Actually, they're pretty straightforward, and we can look to many other cities like Portland, Boston, Washington, D.C. Most other large cities are doing a much better job than we are protecting their trees. So Seattle's tree ordinance is, there are two of them actually. One for homeowners is pretty strict and it's not always enforced, but it's pretty strict. But the one for developers allows all trees to be removed when development is proposed.
Okay.
So any and all, yeah. So we would like to see that changed.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, ladies, for being here and talking about this beautiful tree. The photos were absolutely stunning, and we really appreciate you guys talking about it.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us.
And after the break, it's time to play with kittens. Yes, I'm serious. We have a couple furry friends that are up for adoption this kitten season, and they're coming on. Welcome back to New Day Northwest. It's springtime, which means kitten season is here. This is one of the major times of the year that our animal shelters need all the help they can get. And I'm joined now by Scout Wesselman from Seattle Area Feline Rescue. And who did you bring with you today? Best day ever.
So this is Ranger and Sushi. 5 weeks ago, they came to us from one of our partner rescues, and just as tiny little babies. They were even smaller than they are today. And kittens that young are very vulnerable, and so they have fragile immune systems. And so these guys were sent straight to a foster home where they've been living away from a shelter environment. I know, their little faces are so adorable. And yeah, we rely on those amazing foster homes to take care of them when they're this small.
Absolutely. And what exactly, too, is kitten season for someone that hasn't heard about that before?
Yeah, kitten season runs spring through early fall, and it's when animal shelters see a surge in the number of kittens coming into the rescue. And it's one of the busiest and most critical times of the year, and we do everything we can to make sure these little guys are set up for success.
Oh my gosh, how do you guys prepare for that too? Like the influx of all these kittens that are coming in.
Oh, we start gearing up early. We're going to be stocking up on supplies, lining up foster families, preparing for their veterinary needs. It's really taking a lot of people and making sure that everyone
I know. They're
my God, they're a little
having fun
distracting.
today. Okay, they are very distracting.
Yeah,
what does it take to get a kitten ready for adoption, and when will these little guys be ready to be adopted?
Oh, it's a true team effort. First, they're going to come in and get their
Wanna
full.
see your friend?
Hi. Hello. They're going to get their full veterinary exam, all their core vaccinations. They're beginning parasite treatment.
Okay.
And then they're going to head to a foster home to learn to play, to learn to trust humans and gain confidence so they can be confident little guys like these are today. And then after that, they're going to be coming in for booster shots every once in a while, checking up on them. And in the meantime, those foster families are going to be making sure that nothing's going wrong, checking that they're eating well, gaining weight, and everything looks normal. If something's not going well, you know, they have fragile immune systems, and there's a lot that can go wrong. And we're going to do everything we can to prevent things from going wrong.
And what are some ways that the public can help too? too. I know I want to like squeeze their little faces. Okay.
Well, there's always coming and adopting from us, and these guys will actually be available for adoption this Thursday. They're up to be neutered today, and so it's a big day for them.
It is a big day. And do you guys need any like items or anything donated? Like how else can the public help?
Yeah, we have wish lists up on our website where people can check out, see the items we're currently in need of, or making a monetary donation if you're able to, especially because today is actually the kickoff of Give Big, which is Washington State's annual fundraising campaign. It brings together donors to support nonprofits like ours at the time where we need it the most, which is for us kitten season. And, hello.
And do they like to be adopted together? Do you guys prefer that? I know. I'm like, let me help. Sushi.
Yeah, with kittens under 6 months old, we're going to be adopting them in pairs. We call them bonded pairs.
Okay.
And that's just, they socialize better. They have less behavioral issues later on. It's really nice to keep them together.
Okay, amazing. I know I adopted a little guy that was a foster fail, and he may or may not have single cat syndrome.
Single kitten syndrome.
Yeah, so I would recommend getting a pair if you can.
And plus you get two for the,
Yes,
2 at once.
Two to love on. Thank you so much for being here. Best day ever to have kittens on. We so appreciate it. And next up, we're gonna switch gears because it's close to lunchtime. When we come back, we're cooking up an Italian classic, pasta fagioli. You'll love how easily this dish comes together, and hopefully I don't take this one home, but I might.
New Day Northwest is back now from the Safeway kitchen.
Welcome back. It's kitchen time, and we're cooking up pasta fagioli, a classic Italian dish. Olivia Becker is back. She's the founder of Dalla Fonte, the local Seattle company that brings us a taste of Italy to your doorstep. Welcome back. It's already smelling so fragrant here in the kitchen. What Italian dish are we making today?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here because pasta fagioli means so much to my family because it's what my grandma would make us all the time. You'd go to her house, it's like, what smells so good? It's pasta fagioli, which is what they called it if you were a New Yorker, an Italian living in New York. And so we are making it today, but what's great about this version where my
there's
grandma,
your grandma.
there she is.
To your grandma.
Yes.
Look at you guys.
Oh my gosh, and little me, she was the best. We lost her about 10 years ago, so doing things like this is like, it just brings me back.
Absolutely.
So it is wonderful. But where my grandma would spend all day in the kitchen, this is something called pasta fagioli veloce, which means speedy. So pasta, beans, and speed, which as a working mom, I love something that's fast. It makes it very approachable.
Right.
And we're going to be doing the recipe from Viola Buitoni, which is a friend of mine. She's an Italian chef, and she has the same memories I do. So her mom growing up would make this on the oven all day with the pork rinds and the dry beans, and she would just come home to those smells. So we worked together to create a recipe for our spring Dalla Fonte box to share with all of our club members and share with everybody today.
So let's get going.
Yeah.
What do we have already in this pan?
Okay, so we have two different pans up front, and this is a combination of garlic, shallots, fresh rosemary, a little salt and pepper, and pancetta. And pancetta is an Italian pork. Sometimes it can be hard to find. You can use bacon. It's all good.
Perfect.
So we've been browning that.
Okay.
And while we boil the pasta, and now we're just gonna add a cup of water.
Oh.
And yeah.
Yeah, and what else do we have here?
And then these are the Tuscan white cannellini beans. So this is what makes pasta fagioli. It's the white Italian bean, and you can see how creamy they are. These are straight from Tuscany. They are covered in olive oil. They're absolutely delicious. So we are going to bring that to a boil. I'll turn that up a little bit. And this is in our spring box, and so this is what we really built this recipe around, are these delicious cannellini beans.
Oh my gosh, and any pasta, you can use anything that dealer's choice?
Yeah. Yes, dealer's choice. So we have an Italian pasta in here, of course. It's just a shortcut pasta, but you can really use anything. I mean, obviously with pasta, you want to make sure the only ingredient is the organic semolina flour, or it also has eggs. nothing else. So we are partial to Italian pasta at Dalla Fonte, but anything you find at the store also works. This is supposed to be a comfort meal, and it just brings in the flavors of the pasta and then the meat and the beans.
And you're cooking this till about...
You actually want to cook this al dente because it'll cook in the beans a bit. So that's about 1 minute shy of the cooking time. So I think this pasta was 8 minutes. So it's been cooking here, the magic of TV, for about 7.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And it's probably ready to go in the beans once they boil.
Yes.
So
okay, and while we're waiting for the boil, tell me about the spring subscription box, what you get with everything.
yeah, of course. So we send out boxes to our members every quarter. And this quarter was an ode to spring. So it's Primavera in Tavola, which means spring on your table. So you can see over there what we have. We have the white beans, of course, and then we have a 2-cheese polenta, also a very quick, delicious, hearty Italian meal.
Yum.
We have Italian grissini, which I love to pair with those things, something crunchy with the soup or the polenta. We've got chocolate orange biscotti, truffles from Piedmont, some Easter eggs as well for the recent holiday, Sicilian marmalade, and then some edible flowers with a sea salt, which is also what we'll be using to top the pasta fagioli. And then, of course, every box comes with a wine that pairs with the meal. And so it's really this complete experience. And this is where Viola comes in as well, because she's contributed recipes, you know, from her book with the box, because really we want to make these things like approachable for everyone. You know, everyone's a cook in our minds. Kelly, you can, this is something you can do. And it just brings those Italian flavors into people's homes. And Viola's great because, you know, she is from Perugia, Italy, living in the US, and her whole cookbook is about like, here's one ingredient, Italian ingredient, you can find here in the US to create all these dishes. And that's what she's done, and that's the inspiration here.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Look at you guys. Okay, this
She
looks
is
like
wonderful.
it's boiling too.
Yes,
So what's
okay.
next?
So easy peasy, you're just gonna take this, I love a little colander spoon.
Okay.
And you are going to scoop the pasta into the beans.
And if I get a little pasta water, that's okay?
I like mine a little bit thicker, my pasta fagioli, but
Okay.
if you like it soupier,
No,
you
I'm
can
going
also
with
use
the
pasta
pro.
water.
Whatever you're telling me to do, that's what I'm going with.
Well, one trick I would say, always save your pasta water, because you see it's like this thick, starchy, salty water. And that can be used to thin your soup as well. So a lot of times we just like take the bowl and dump it over the sink. It goes down the drain. No, save it.
Save it. Okay, and what's
So
next
just
after
give that a
this?
stir.
Okay.
Just stir that pasta in
Yum,
with the
the
beans.
smells. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's really that rosemary and garlic and the pancetta. It is just such a
Everything's
comforting meal.
working.
Everything's working.
Okay, and then we get to top it?
Yeah. So let's see if you can scoop some in there. I know we kind of have.
I know, a little.
Let's see, it's not quite the ladle.
I know. You know, we're doing our best here.
Yeah, this is fine.
Everything's fine.
That's good,
Okay.
yeah.
And what's
regardless
topping?
of what it looks like, you always want to top. This is Pecorino Romano cheese. It's a grated sheep cheese. You know, anybody knows on an Italian table, you have a big bowl of cheese, grated cheese. So you put that on. If you like spice, it's
Hit me with
excellent.
it,
Okay,
yes.
with some chili flakes.
Yum.
And then we have, this is our Italian sea salt with edible flowers, a very fun floral touch and really good flavors. So you top that with some salt as well. And then of course, as we all know, olive oil.
Olive
Make
oil.
sure it's extra virgin. This is one of our favorites from Florence, a restaurant that we love. And then
Yum!
to give
You're
that
taking
a
me to
top.
Italy with this meal. I can't wait. Okay, and while I taste test, tell me how the subscription works too. Thank you so much.
So we deliver a box of products made in Italy every quarter to our members. You can pair it with a bottle of Italian wine, or you can have just the foods, but it's really about like introducing people to all of those flavors. We have the small producers. Oh, what do you think?
I'm completely silent. This is absolutely delicious.
Thank you. I mean,
wow.
I think every Italian or Italian American watching will recognize pasta fagioli or pasta fazool, as so many immigrants called it, and just like as a meal that just brings them back to their families, just all those flavors, and it's a really easy, as you can see, comforting meal. Yeah.
You are the absolute best. Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, just take me to Italy right now. Come back anytime, and I'm gonna dive into that focaccia bread too next. And next up, do you know someone who badly needs a new roof but doesn't have the money to pay for it? They may be a candidate for the Halo Project. We'll have more on this inspiring mission after the break, so make sure to stick around. I'm like... Welcome back to New Day Northwest. A Federal Way woman known as the neighborhood grandma lived for 2 years with only a tarp protecting her deteriorating roof. Her name is Cindy Lou Vaughn, and her life was forever changed when caring neighbors nominated her for the Guardian Roofing's first ever Halo project. And here to tell us more about her story and how you can make a difference in someone's life, the owners of Guardian Roofing, Lori and Matt Swanson. So great to have you guys back.
Yeah, thank you again so much for having us. We're really excited to be here.
I know, I love hearing about everyone that you help with the Halo Project. So, Lori, remind us, Halo Project, what's it all about?
Okay, so the Halo Project is Guardian Roofing's annual give back to the community where we give a homeowner or family in need a new roof, completely free of charge.
Gosh, so amazing. And your first ever Halo Project recipient, like we just said, was a Federal Way woman, Cindy Lou Vaughn. So tell us about Cindy Lou's situation and how you all found her.
Yeah, Cindy Lou really embodies this actual spirit of the Halo Project. She's an incredible person. Her and her husband, Pat, have lived in their community for over 35 years. And she's known, like you mentioned, as the neighborhood grandma. And whether it's a cup of coffee or a blanket or a household item, she's always there with her door wide open to help someone in need, even if it's just a hug. I think even the first time we visited her, people were walking in or coming by. So she just gives back to her community in such a huge way. And unfortunately, before we helped them with their roof, her and Pat had some very serious medical issues. She had a brain aneurysm. She survived that. And then Pat came down with bladder cancer and serious medical issues. And their roof started to fail. And with all the health issues and financial burden that they were going through with medical bills, all they could do is put that tarp on it.
And you guys came in and obviously saved the day. So Matt, tell me what the team did to help Cindy Lou and her family.
Yeah, so their house actually had really kind of unique architecture. Part of the roof was flat and some of it was pitched, but it was really shallow. And what was really happening is the roof had deteriorated to the point that water was just running inside, and actually a portion of the ceiling had collapsed. And the little bit of insulation that they had was being held up by a tarp, and they had a wood stove keeping them warm. It was just, it was a pretty dire situation. You would never guess it by interacting with them because they were just smiles and hugs, just the most amazing people. So we had to rebuild some rafters. We put up a new ceiling for them and put some insulation in there. Re-roofed the flat portion. It was quite a project, and really, but our people, it was a real sense of pride when we were done because it was just so nice to fix that up and walk inside and know that they were safe.
I know, that's the biggest thing, and to maybe take a little of the burden off with all the medical issues like you were saying they have. And
they had such an outpouring of support from their neighborhood that she had helped wrap her arms around for so long. And the nominations were just flooding in on that Facebook page. And one of our employees found that and brought it to us. And we were like, oh my gosh, we can't think of a person who's more deserving than Cindy Lou and Pat. Of course, both of them. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing that you guys were able to do that. And that was your first of several Halo projects. So since then, Guardian Roofing has expanded its reach. Lori, how does that impact the Halo project?
Yeah, we're just so excited to be in Washington and Portland. We can help more communities. As we grow, then the Halo project grows. And that's really neat for us to be able to do that.
Definitely. And Matt, how can the community get involved?
Yeah, of course. They can go on our website, guardianroofing.com, King 5's website, either place to nominate people. If you know how to operate one of those QR
codes that you see there on your screen.
You can do that. And then, of course, if anybody wants to donate, materials or food or time, we'd love to have the help so we can just keep expanding the project.
Absolutely, that's the goal. And why do you guys want to keep the Halo project going year over year? I imagine it's just beyond fulfilling for you guys and the team.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, what we've seen over the years is that it actually really changes lives. To be able to bring that peace of mind to someone and keep them safe and dry in their home where they wouldn't otherwise have the support has just been it's been an incredible honor to give back in this way.
Definitely. Matt, anything else you want to add to about your experience over the years with the Halo project and meeting all these incredible people?
Well, it just when you think it can't get any more fulfilling, it just gets more amazing, you know. And like I said before, we're the real recipients in our team, being able to help these folks, and it's just neat to see the good side of people.
Yeah, it brings out the best.
It really does. Well, you guys are bringing out the best in so many people. Thank you so much for coming today and telling us about the Halo Project and Cindy Lou. And nominations are now open for the Guardian Halo Project. Just scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen to nominate someone in need of a new roof. The deadline is coming up May 2nd. Nominees must be at least 21 years or older, and they must own the home that is being nominated. The contest is open to Washington State residents living in King, Pierce, Snohomish, Kitsap, and Thurston counties. Just see king5.com/contest for complete details and restrictions. And when we come back, more hot topics and an update on legal cases making headlines right now with attorney Ann Bremner, so stay with us.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Guardian Roofing. This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Hyundai. This is New Day Northwest.
Welcome back and listen up. Scan the QR code that you see on your screen right now to nominate a deserving person in our community to win a brand new Hyundai Santa Fe. This is all part of Hyundai Hometown Heroes, where King 5, along with your Western Washington Hyundai dealers, will give away an all-new Hyundai Santa Fe in just a few weeks. Here's Western Washington Hyundai dealer Matthew Phillips with another unique feature of the Santa Fe.
Make room for happy living. This 3-row SUV has it all. Available power reclining second row captain's chairs, dual wireless phone charger, and front and back opening center console that everyone can access are more than part of our redesigned Santa Fe. They're changes that luxuriously accommodate the way you navigate life.
Now is the time to nominate a hometown hero. You know, to win this new car, we'll narrow down all the nominations to a top 5 and then let you vote from there. Good luck to everyone. And now it's time again for another round of Hot Topics. My panel of Anne, Marie, and producer Joseph are back with me, and we are starting with a Costco topic. The iconic muffins that you see in front of us. I got the blueberry flavor because they no longer have the variety pack, and they don't have the chocolate flavor, which was my absolute favorite. I don't know why they would ever remove that, but that's okay.
So when you told me this news, I basically went to Costco the next day to verify if that was
yes,
true or not.
You gotta verify.
And when I got there, I took a picture of the section, and I was shocked. They took all the chocolate away. I was like, "There's no way. That's like got to be one of their most popular things." And look. No chocolate.
No,
and they're so much smaller, which I know we were talking about the calories earlier. Like one of these was like over 1,000 calories back in the day. So now they're smaller, which I don't know. I guess that's fine. I'll live with that. But where are the chocolate ones? Like, please, can they come back?
I used to work at Costco in college. Bagels, muffins. We would, so many that would come through the check stand. And so I'm just surprised that they'd want to get rid of such a
I know,
staple.
Top seller.
Yeah.
You guys, are you Costco girlies? Do we like Costco? Do we steer clear?
I'm supporting Jeff Bezos' wedding and space travel with Amazon. Anything. Uber Eats. So I haven't been to Costco in a long time, but from our conversation, I think I should go back.
Maybe
the chicken, the hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
I
but not
know.
these.
No. Okay.
I do go to Costco. I like Costco. I think it's a mistake why would anyone ever get rid of anything chocolate? I don't understand.
Right.
But
Thank
I will
you.
say, if they ever get rid of the $1.50 hot dogs, there will be pitches
They'll never do
It'll be
it.
a riot.
They better. They
torches.
keep
It
saying
would
the
be
CEO
bad.
is always like, we would never do
They
that.
better
and
not.
They better
Keep
not.
your promises, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I've eaten so many Costco hot dogs.
Me
Oh
too.
my gosh! Wow.
I had one yesterday full confession, when I went to
say?
this. I was like, oh, I'm here. Anyways, moving on. Today is Earth Day, and earlier in the show we were talking about a large tree that's coming down in Green Lake that has made a lot of community members unhappy. What do we think Earth Day signifies in Seattle in 2025 and beyond?
I think it's very important that we're still thinking about the environment. So any way we can mark an event to celebrate nature, I think that's really important. Arbor Day, Earth Day, all of it.
I think it's very, I'm not as tuned in, but when I was a kid, it was a big, big deal. And I don't know if it's as big a deal now as it was then. I mean, there were parades and protests and all kinds of things, and there was a lot done toward children. So I hope that's still happening. I don't have school-age kids anymore, but I hope it's an opportunity to talk about trees and the environment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. I mean, I think the most beautiful place in the United States.
Yep.
And so all the trees we have, when you come in on an airplane, you smell the air. It's so fresh, right?
Yes.
I mean, always. There's no place like it. And
Seattle.
all of the trees, and like, it's
It looks
just,
like a painting.
I know,
We live
I know.
here. It's
I
so
know,
great.
The Emerald City, but I think we do a lot up here for what I think the concept of Earth Day is, for sure.
Yep.
Definitely. Recycle, take care of, your
Yes,
planet,
love Mother Earth.
everyone.
Right.
And I know when you said that about flying in, anytime I go anywhere else, I feel like as soon as I see the evergreen trees and I step out of the airport, I'm like, oh, yes, fresh air. Like,
Seattle, thank you.
thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you,
So,
Seattle.
I mean, mountains, water, we have it all,
we have
which
it all.
is really special. Maria, I want to get to, you're the author of a new novel, The Book Club for Troublesome Women. So what do book clubs mean to you? And tell me about the book.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you quickly about the book. So it's set in 1963. It's about 4 quietly unhappy housewives who live in a suburb of Northern Virginia, not too far from Washington, D.C. They form a book club, and the first of many books they read is The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan, and it changes everything.
Wow.
So,
Spicy.
it's
Spicy.
I'm very excited about this book, and I think it has a lot to say. But book clubs are hugely important, and I think they're more popular than ever. And somebody was asking me, like, why are they important? Well, first of all, I think books are important. I think books do change
Definitely.
lives, right? But especially in this day and age, I think it's important for us to have opportunities to listen to other viewpoints. And I think book clubs can be a really good sort of practice ground for trying to think through why we believe a certain thing and have
Critical
an opinion
thinking.
and present that to other people, as well as listening to opinions that might be different than our own. Because the most boring book club ever is the one where everybody loves the book.
So
right?
true.
Say less, Marie.
I know.
Right? It's like, if everybody
hated
just
it,
loves
right?
the books, it's like, okay, well, let's drink wine now.
Exactly.
Right.
We have a book club that we started here on the show when I started in this position, and I love, reading has always been so big and something that I've enjoyed, and it gives you the opportunity to have women, friends, anyone kind of meet with busy schedules and get to talk about something.
We love authors
so,
here.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to be here in the place where I love.
Excited to read it.
I know,
I bought
and we
your
want to
copy.
get to you
Thank
too
you,
on
yeah.
a few trending
Oh,
legal
There's a
topics
few,
because we
there's a
have
few.
you.
Right.
Starting with the Menendez brothers.
Well,
What's trending here?
Oh, it's always trending. That show on Netflix, but that got everything going. But the last hearing, the new prosecutor, his name's Nathan Hobach, said, I don't like what the last prosecutor promised in pleadings, that he was going to recommend resentencing and they would be out, etc. So he came in before the judge, this new prosecutor, very conservative law and order guy, and he says, you know what, I want to withdraw what the last guy did, and I want to put my new one in. And by the way, he fired people in his office that agreed with the old prosecutor. And the judge is like, you know what, no, but we'll just go ahead for the sentencing hearing. So, resentencing. And there's really 3 things: a habeas petition, and then this resentencing petition that's still alive from the old prosecutor, and then finally clemency from the governor. And the governor's asked for a risk assessment from the parole board, so it shows he's taking it seriously. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. They've been in there for decades, and they could be released almost immediately on a resentence because parole for youthful offenders. They were under the age of 26, so they would be early parole.
Wow.
So it's kind of amazing. And I told you, I've talked to Eric.
I know,
before.
that's
Yeah.
what I love.
Yeah.
It's so cool that you've talked to them.
Yeah, and he was extremely impressive. But on the other hand, he was able to kill his parents. So there's people on both sides are equally adamant that they should either stay in forever and should have gotten the death penalty. They were up for the death penalty, but they didn't get it from a jury.
Right.
Or that they should get out because they've served their time. They were abused by the parents, and they had no choice but to commit this act. So we'll see. I think they may be getting out.
Okay, and Idaho, I want to get to the Idaho murders. This is just really taken over. I mean, people are so obsessed with this case.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me about the Brian
Look at
here.
those eyes.
I know.
It's just, you shouldn't have me look at it, but so he's not doing very well in the motions. I mean, his lawyers have done a great job of filing many, many motions, including that there couldn't be testimony about one of the witnesses seeing bushy eyebrows. Trying to get the death penalty off the table because he has autism. And they're also saying that it's that shouldn't be death for other reasons. So that hasn't really been ruled on yet. But the fact is, and by the way, Lori Daybell, the cult mom, remember her? Death was taken off the table in her case in Idaho because the prosecutors had not complied with discovery requirements. They're trying that in Koberger. That's about their best chance, I think, to try and get it off the table. But he's lost all the motions on DNA, on the search warrants.
Gosh.
I mean, every once in a while he gets a little bit of a bone that's thrown at him from the judge, but not really. Now, he can't talk about autism in the trial, and they want to say, the defense, he acts weird, he looks weird, because he's autistic. And that's why he looks like he's not reacting, he's not emotive, And the judge said, no, that's for the penalty phase too. So, jury selection in July, trial in August, and there are a lot of people from here in the media that are there right now.
Oh, yeah, for
You know
sure.
that, yeah.
Yes,
It's
of
a big
course,
case.
yeah.
Wow.
And a horrible case.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, y'all, for being here. So
Thank you.
fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you for those updates. And thank you to you all for spending time with us today. You can check our website for more of our content, and you can always send us an email to share your thoughts. Don't forget to enjoy your new day, and we'll see you next time.
Some segments of New Day Northwest are paid for by these fine sponsors: